It's time now for this week's Ag Minute, and this week we're going to expand on it a bit as Thom now joins us from her hometown, New Orleans. And Lauren, last week it was the history of the ice cream sundae. This week, another treat to beat the heat.
That's right, Mike. The cool treats just continue. This week's Ag Minute is about the history of the snowball, which is known as snow cones in other parts of the country. But when we were doing our research for this story, we were surprised to learn that the history of the snowball had its start right here in New Orleans.
Business is a flurry here at Hansen'S Sno-Bliz on Tchoupitoulas in New Orleans and has been for the past 70 years. From the inside, it looks like a typical snowball operation. Smiling faces, syrup-stoked cups of ice, and a line of patrons in flip-flops. But that sound you hear in the background is what made Hansen'S Snowballs legendary.
Good old chocolate snowball.
It all started back in 1934 when Ernest Hansen invented this machine that could shave ice finer and faster than ever before. At first, Ernest sold snowballs out of a pushcart around the city, using syrups that his wife Mary made from scratch. It was during the Great Depression, and people told Ernest he'd never be able to make a living selling snowballs. But Ernest proved them wrong. It wasn't long before he and Mary opened up a snowball shop, and each year they'd paint the number of years they were open on the side of the building. Each year, as those numbers changed, their snowballs grew in popularity. The Hansen'S Sno-Bliz was becoming a New Orleans legend. In addition to their one-of-a-kind snowballs, patrons also enjoyed visiting with Ernest and Mary, who became legends themselves. They refused to hire anyone to run their shop, except their granddaughter Ashley, who has been helping her grandparents since she was a kid.
If we were open, they wanted to be here. They wanted to see all their friends and all their customers and everything that they'd worked for 60 years.
Having been a business in New Orleans, Hansen'S Sno-Bliz has seen hurricanes disrupt their business. There was Hurricane Betsy in 1957 and Camille in 1965. But it was Hurricane Katrina, which coincidentally made landfall on Ernest's 94th birthday, that would hit Hansen's the hardest. Ernest's original ice shaving machine was under 2 feet of water for 2 weeks after the storm. And just 9 days after Katrina, Mary Hansen passed away, and Ernest died just a few months later. These two people who became New Orleans icons weren't even able to be buried in the city they loved, since the cemeteries weren't back open yet after the storm. And they'd never see their famous snowball shop open for business again. It was their granddaughter Ashley, who used to help them at the shop, who reopened their snowball stand to keep her grandparents' dream alive. She just wishes things would have ended better, though, for her grandparents.
No, they never made it back to New Orleans. They never saw their favorite restaurants. They never saw their home that was flooded.
You can find Ashley behind the counter each day serving up the same Sno-Bliz recipe made famous by her grandparents. And she runs things the same way, using the same recipe and business ethics as her grandparents did.
She always said, I would never want to serve anything that I wouldn't eat. And so then began our motto, there are no shortcuts to quality.
Hansen still goes out of their way to use Louisiana products. They use real Louisiana cane sugar for the syrup, Kentwood spring water for their ice, and Louisiana strawberries for their strawberry syrup.